want to talk about removing and replacing the upper ball joint. This is on an early Vanagon. This is an 84, 85. First thing you want to start doing is by popping off the front hubcap. Then you want to remove everybody has been talking about. They want to see everything. So in case you didn't know how to take lug nuts off, now this is your chance. Alright. So I usually just use an air gun for removing lug nuts. When you go to put them back on, you want to use a torque wrench, and you want to set it to, I believe the Bentley is calling for 133 foot-pounds, but your mileage may vary on that. This is what the early braking system looks like. Some of you have been talking about my other video I got of the rotor replacement. That's actually for 86 and newer van. This is an 85, from 80 to 85. They use this other style of caliper. It's either Ate or Girling, but they both basically look the same and work the same. If you were going to change out the pads, they have these two pins right here. You would get a nice, what I like to call a drift pin. You knock these two pins out. From this side, you'll see the two pins here. You knock them out this way, they'll come out this back side here. Pull them out the rest of the way with a pair of vice grips. This little four-way cross comes out. Oh, okay. And then once you take that out and you get done blessing it and everything, you can pry in here with a pry bar to release the pistons on the caliper. Then you can just pull the pads out, and also there's some rattle clips in here as well behind the pads. But we're not doing that today. Okay, we're going to actually be removing this caliper because in order to get to our upper ball joint, so that's what I promised, these early ones have a bracket here that holds the brake line. And you're saying, why did they do that? Because they be stupid. I don't know. You know, later on, they did not do that. In these early vans, they did do that. So we're dealing with an early one today. We got to deal with it. Probably the easiest thing to do first would be, when we're replacing the upper ball joint, remove these two upper Allen head screws. Okay. Again, I'm trying to do this while holding the video camera on here, just to make people happy. Normally, these would come off way harder. This particular van has always been garage kept, so these are coming off pretty easy. I just did the other side, so I kind of expected it to be this nice. So just take those off. Now you can push up on the upper control arm, get that out of the way, and you got a little bit more room to deal with the ball joint. Now you see this ball joint, the boot is actually ripped on it, so that's really the problem. I mean, it's not really that worn out. It's not even super duper old. It's just got ripped a little bit. Alright, now what we're going to do is remove the two bolts, which you really probably couldn't see if I even swing the thing around onto it. On the back side of the caliper. Alright, they are different. The bottom one is threaded the whole length. Okay, you can kind of see that. The upper one, it actually has a shoulder on it. I guess that's to keep it centered. That one's not going to cooperate, okay? But, yeah, the upper one's got a shoulder on it. And you need to make sure when you put them back, that you put them back, you know, the correct one for the top and the correct one for the bottom. That's why I'm mentioning it. The holes that are inside the caliper are probably different sizes, so more than likely it's user friendly aka idiot proof that way. Alright, sometimes you gotta break these beasts loose with the breaker bar before your BFF, the air gun, can get it off of there. Come on, pig. Because I'm trying to video it. It wants to be my best friend ever. Trying to do everything one-handed. So, pardon on that. There. I don't have anyone here today to help with the video. So, got to do it myself. Okay, got that off. This is what I'm talking about here. This other bolt has this shoulder here. Just want to make sure they're both a little different from each other. Alright, so we got this beast broke loose. Now we want to do, we actually have to kind of pry it away from the rotor so that we can get to move this bracket right here and this little metal pipe. It's kind of in the way of getting to the nut that holds the upper ball joint on. So, you know, what I'll do, see, I actually tweaked it. I bent it a little bit. You have to be able to do that. If you don't bend it a little bit, you're not going to be able to get on it. So, don't get scared. You can do that. Alright, then we want to make sure we get the right size to go on this thing. It is a 24. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and stop this and take this off because I need both hands. And then alright, that took me all of like 2 seconds. I got this nut loose here with the air gun. Boom, that's off. This bracket is actually under the nut, so now that's free. And now the ball joint itself is free. It's not quite free yet, but it's free to the point where it can be extracted. I kind of like to use this tool here, which is like a front-end service tool. You can get it at pretty much anywhere. AutoZone, Advanced Auto, some of the places even let you borrow it for free. But you kind of want to be nice to them and buy some parts from them for doing that for you. So, trying to get this thing on here. Then you basically just tighten it up until it pops this thing off. Okay. I'm just having lots of fun because I'm trying to do this all single-handedly while I'm videotaping. So that just makes it that much more of a challenge. Alright, so I got that on there. You just want to tighten that down until it's going to pop the ball joint back up out of there. The last one, the other side I did was super duper easy. So I got this ratcheting wrench thing here. Of course, I've got it on the wrong way. Let me try one more time here. Because everything's upside down, you have to keep reminding yourself, is that tightening, loosening, you know, that kind of stuff. Okay, there we go. So you just basically tighten on this beast. There goes the beautiful caliper out of the way, so that's good. And it should just pop. Yep, there it goes. Just pop this ball joint loose. So there's the upper ball joint. It is out. Again, you see the boot is ripped. It's actually still a good ball joint, but can't really get the boots. So bye to it, as they say in Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. Okay, now gonna get the new one. Get ready to put that back in. Let me stop it. All right, we're back again on our show of changing out ball joints. Here's the old naughty one. Here is the new happy one. So what I basically do is just kind of do reverse of what you just did. Okay, you want to put this in here. You want to make sure you pick the caliper back up and push it back up against here with the bracket. You want the bracket to be back, okay? Then you can put the nut on, and you really want the air gun, because what you got to do is push down on this as hard as you can while you're air gunning it up on there. If you don't do that, this thing here is just going to spin this little stud, and it's not going to really tighten. If you push down on it, it wedges it in there and gives it enough drag so it'll actually tighten up all the way. Okay, so that's a tip there. Let me go ahead and put that back together to that point, because there's no way on earth I'm going to be able to do this with one hand. And then I'll just show you the last final things about putting stuff back together, and that should be it. So we got our caliper, we got our upper ball joint fastened up here. One caveat is, you still have to keep this thing bent out here for to actually be in the way. So you keep the caliper loose, unattached, until you put this bracket in here, and then put this nut in and tighten it all the way down. Once you get that tightened all the way down, then you can push the caliper back onto the rotor. Okay, you might want to take a pry bar and pry the two pads apart just a little bit, so it'll go back on the rotor a little bit more, easily when you go to push it back on, because otherwise it'll be pretty tight going on there. So you put that back on, then you got your two bolts back here, upper and lower. I put them back on already. Once you put them on, I usually don't use an air gun on them. I'll use it on this, because this upper, nut under here, because you have to be able to turn it on really fast while you're pushing down on it to get it wedged. As far as these go, I put them back on with a regular ratchet, and then when you get to the last where you got to tighten it down, either use a torque wrench or a breaker bar. Give it a little bit extra, because you don't want this caliper coming loose, okay? And it's got high grade steel bolts, so you can definitely handle it. So now we got this upper part pushed back through, upper control arm here. You can use a Phillips head screwdriver, go down through this hole here and help line up these two Allen screws. That's probably the easiest way to get it to line up properly. Again, I always do these like with my fingers for at least a little while before I use a tool on it, because you don't want it to cross thread. Okay, so trying to avoid cross threading. That will save you messing up brand new parts, breaking new parts, all that good stuff. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt. Okay, so you just want to tighten these down all the way. These two uppers. I didn't mention it, but when you had the caliper off, you could replace the rotor pretty easily at that point. And you can see my other rotor video I got. All the stuff about taking off the rotor is the same. The difference is the caliper on the early versus the late. So once you get these things tightened down, I usually take a breaker bar and give them an extra tighten. Again, you don't want this to come loose on somebody, especially yourself, and they're high grade steel. They can definitely take it. So now we're back together there. We just got to basically put the wheel back on, get her back on the ground, and torque everything back down to spec as far as the wheel bolts go, and we're done. So that is removing and replacing the upper ball joint on an early Vanagon, and also removing the brake caliper on an early Vanagon. If you like our videos, please support our website, www.vanagan.com, and we would love to have you buy some parts from us. We also have a PayPal for donations, so you can donate to sales, S-A-L-E-S, at vanagan.com, and we'd love to have a donation from you if you have already bought your parts somewhere else. I understand that. And if you don't have a halfpenny, then God bless you, my friend. Have a great one, And that's it.